Hey there, LJ here, and I have one of the kittens here with me. Baby, want to say hi? Hello. He was sleeping right where I usually put my camera when I make these videos, so got the kitten and more kittens. Can you see him back there in the corner? Got the rescue kittens that are here really giving us kitten therapy every day, as you can imagine. So, yes, welcome. And today I want to share and even be a little more vulnerable about how I see that we can use our yoga. It'd be nice to get the kitten in the shot, right? Maybe I can change it. Kitten, do you want to be in the video? Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's pretty fun. Kind of crooked, but fun. Okay, we got a kitten in the video now. Hi, baby. So, yeah. Wanted to talk more about how I see we can use our yoga, our union, to deal with feelings. Hi, baby. How can we use it to... Look, I think a lot of us, we might see that, sure, yoga could help us feel better in the long run. And that probably, if we said that, we're probably thinking of the physical parts, right? Because most of us still think of that when we say the word yoga. So yes, that part and all the parts of yoga can certainly help us to feel better and better. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to still be human, right? And that we're not going to still have feelings and that we're not going to still feel bad, right? So I love seeing how more and more in my own work with myself, which is where all this sharing always stems from. Well, I mean, also in my work with others, but it's always coming from my own use of this with myself and my own learning, my own discoveries day after day. So today was one of those days where I woke up and, I guess there's always stuff in life, right, that we could worry about or stress about. That seems to be true. That's never going to go away. And some teachers even would teach that there's value to that, right? That contrast is helping us realize what we do want and serving such a purpose for us in so many ways, right? So, yeah, today was one of those days. I woke up and I was thinking about, I think, the couple things that weren't great. Like one of the things that had a kitchen sink that's broken. Wasn't sure if the plumber was coming today or not. Luckily, the plumber has come now and I'm feeling better. But because of some things on the outside world, seemingly, I was noticing I was feeling out of sorts and just kind of grumpy in my energy in my body and my emotions even just feeling kind of yuck. And so, part of the reason I do my morning daily practices is to just build that vibe. I'll let you down, baby. And do the things that are going to help me feel how I want to feel and focus how I want to focus. And that usually works, but so I was doing some of my usual stuff. But even my saying it works brings up what I want to talk about here, really, because part of what's been a new awareness to me is as much as we want to, yes, be able to use this stuff to feel better, we also can use it to do other things with our feelings than just change them. And part of the changing them, it turns out, is to actually be with the feelings, feel the feelings, flow the feelings, and even check out what they're about, where it's coming from, what's coming up for us. And so I love now that I'm starting to slowly get that. As much as I like to feel good, and I do still tend to aim towards feeling better, there's this importance to also just letting ourselves feel the feelings. And when we don't feel great, to actually be willing to like go into that and check it out and give ourselves a little extra time and space to find out what is going on, like, and often I notice with myself, if I'm willing to spend a little more time tuning into myself, now with what I've learned even about how my thoughts affect how I feel and my focus and my attention and my awareness, and I can use those things, my attention and my awareness, to take a look at what is happening in the current mindset, right? In the current thoughts and the current focus that are going with those feelings. And then also, though, having gotten better and better at rooting myself in that non-judgment that is part of these practices and perspectives and the psychology. So that's where we also see that it's our perspectives and our psychology that we have in our yoga lifestyle. And you get to choose really what that means to you. But that is part of what we use when we're working with things like our feelings. So today, I knew it was like I need to, like, even more than usual, close my eyes and do some more just listening within and feeling those feelings. And I've also loved that I've gotten more input, and some of this came through on the mental health series that I did recently. And if you would like I'll get a hold of that, let me know and I can connect you with that series. But yeah, now I know more to actually go into those feelings with my yoga, more connected perspective, which also includes part of what I embrace from my spiritual learning and understanding, is that those feelings are also guidance, and they're also telling me that probably I'm out of alignment with what I do want, and maybe out of alignment with my heart and how my soul would see this, or how God would think of it, or the universe, or my spirit guides, or whatever I want to call it. So I can also go into it knowing that, wow, I have those feelings that don't feel great, and I can start to use my psychology and perspectives that I now embrace as part of my yoga, as part of my union, right? That I now can see, oh yeah, those feelings are guidance. Oh yeah, they're telling me a couple things, right? They're telling me that probably that those feelings are telling me that I'm focusing, thinking, imagining in a way that's part of why I'm feeling that way. And that also it's probably out of alignment with how I either really want to feel and focus, or what's true for me really, or again, what is a more spiritual, loving way to see it, for how I'm looking at myself, probably, usually, much less someone else. So going in with those perspectives in mind, with this psychology, and then when I go in, like I did this morning, and knew it was just like, oh, even though I had just journaled for 3 pages, it was like I barely scratched the surface. So I gave myself the space and time to just, close my eyes and listen more, feel more, and also using some of my energy medicine practices along the way. Got on the mat and did my mat practice, did take a walk, needed to go to the store and get some kitty food, and so luckily I can walk to do that. And just knowing all those things helped me with my tuning in 2 ways, though, that they helped me tune in. They gave me that time and space to tune in more to what the heck was going on with why I was feeling that way, and also just giving me a place to feel the feelings, and also do some things like I've learned with the practices to work with those feelings as energy, and to even breathe into them and let myself have a sense of letting them flow through, but also the feeling of it. And often it does include tears. And yeah, there were tears a couple times this morning as part of that feeling and freeing. So that's where I really do vote for the power of like tears more as a way to feel it and free it. And now we could look at like what might have happened if I hadn't had the privilege of having my morning to myself this morning somewhat, and having the choice to do what I was guided to do that tuning in, and also that tuning up. And then as I started to let myself feel the feelings, see more why I was feeling that way, do some of that, both the awareness the attention, right? And then starting to also shift my awareness and attention back more to how I really want to feel, or a more wise part of me feels and sees it, and aligning with that. So slowly shifting through, having gone in though, and let myself feel it and let myself see it, be with it, bring in that non-judgment as much as possible. And then also consciously decide to shift towards some different focus, different attention, different awareness, including the energy medicine that helped me make that shift, right? And so, yeah, I'm just excited to see how we can realize that we can use these practices, the perspectives, and the psychology, all three, which I see those are the three pieces really that make up yoga. To me, yoga as a therapy is the practices, right? The perspectives and the psychology. And that you get to choose that, even personalize all of it, decide what you believe, but then help yourself start to live more from a place like you do believe, right? And starting to read those feelings as that spiritual guidance, even. Maybe not something going wrong, something communicating with us from some part of us. And if we're willing to build in that space and ways to do that. Oh yeah, but what if I hadn't been solo-ish? I was around my husband a bit, and I probably was a little grumpy with him. So yeah, it's like, if we don't do that, if we are feeling grumpy and we just head out into the world, right? Can we imagine where it goes? It probably becomes like, oh, so-and-so was a jerk to me today, and oh, I had a terrible time over here, and and for some reason I'm just in this mood. And then unfortunately with what we know of energy, it is affecting it all. So we could do the opposite and not feel it, or do feel it but project it, right? And experience it that way. Or we can feel it and deal with it as a way to heal it and free it. And then even see like, wow, that was actually like a gift, that whatever that was in life that was triggering those feelings, now I got to use that as a chance to go in and look at some of what I've been doing on the inside that was leading me to experience life like that even. And then even gently, lovingly shift that. And a lot of it for me, and I bet for a lot of us, has to do with that internal conversation we're having with ourselves, and how we're talking to ourselves, how we're thinking about ourselves, how we're feeling about ourselves is a lot of the problem, I think, with a lot of our feelings. When we're feeling bad, I think if we look deeply, we can see often it is about our feelings with ourselves, toward ourselves, much less with or towards others. And then now with the awareness that a lot of us are in, that like how much we love ourselves really determines how much we can love others. That's kind of like this intimidating thought to me when I do, because of all my practices. I have seen how sometimes I really am not very loving with myself, and I'm very the opposite of loving, more than I'd like to be. I'm letting that go more and more every day, shifting it, changing it. But that's where we also can see that our practices, our yoga, the union lifestyle of the psychology, the perspectives, hi kitty, is giving us a chance to shift more into that self-love, which is going to mean that we're able to be more of that for other people, right? So that's where the more that we're just building that in, deciding that's important, that's how we want to live, that's how we want to be with ourselves, and more like every day we're going to do things to do that, right? To deal with our feelings, because we're going to have those feelings, and life is going to keep happening, and there's going to keep being challenge and contrast. But maybe it's also here to serve us, and maybe we can use it always to look at what's triggering us and why. Look at feelings we didn't even know we had buried in their wounds, and heal that, free that up, let that go. So that's where we could really start to get excited about this process of feelings and the guidance and the ways that we can work with it and learn from it and feel it, and also free it up. And then yes, it all adds to our just feeling better and better too, though, right? And just having more of the highs too, with having freed up what might have held us back from that, because we were afraid of feeling the deep lows. We also probably were preventing ourselves from experiencing the high highs. And so I like a life of feeling, and I feel like we're here to, I think Kyle C says we're here to feel, not just to feel happy, like we're here to feel all the feelings. And so I would just love to see us as a culture embracing that more, not being afraid of our feelings, not even thinking it's a disorder or means we're crazy, or that, oh, there's another kid came in. Hi, baby. Yeah, so then we can just learn to work with them as part of being human. They're here to help us, here to even help us heal our stuff if we're willing to feel it and then find our ways that help us transmute it. The alchemy we can do with these practices is exciting, but part of it involves the feeling it, and being with it and understanding more what it's about and where it's coming from and why it's going on, and loving ourselves through it. And then, yeah, we can use lots of amazing ways to shift and transform and alchemize that from the awareness, from the attention, through the actions. Yeah, it's exciting. So I'm happy to be sharing with you and excited to keep getting out there what we can play with these practices and the psychology and the perspectives to just enjoy this being human, right? All right. Loving you all. Thanks for being here with me and the kittens. Namaste.